Welcome back, everybody. Ellis Cannon, and what a perfect segue from North Korea now into weight loss, obesity, and the story that we're going to be telling as it relates to Liz Dervin. Lizzie is the grand prize winner of bodybuilding.com's weight loss challenge. She has lost a lot of weight. We'll be talking about that. And also Stacy Longo, who I'm more familiar with from the evening program, NFPT certified personal trainer and fitness expert, as well as toy bringer, if that makes any sense. Stace, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
I overheard you as you were getting mic'd up. You're very busy.
Very busy. It's the year of transformations. I don't know what it is, but I have so many clients right now who are making huge losses. And, you know, I always bring my toys to show gaining muscle, losing body fat, and just tremendous results.
So tell me about her.
Well, I trained Lizzie back in 2008, and she has a very common problem. She yo-yos up and down. She'll lose, and then she'll gain, and then she'll come back to me, and so forth. And so about a year ago, she came back, and she was the heaviest she ever was. And she said, "Stacy, this is it. I'm doing this for me this time, not for anybody else, not for a boyfriend. I am making the change for life, and I want you to help me. And I mean business this time." And she sure did.
Well, let me say, Lizzie, first of all, congratulations on that commitment.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the success. Talk a little bit about this grand prize, but beyond that, talk a little bit about the journey.
So basically, I had applied to do this weight transformation. I started off with a couple contests of Stacy, and that really motivated me. I think something that's really important is setting goals. So these challenges have really motivated me to push the envelope and go further than I ever dreamed possible. And actually, I did her challenge first, and I won second place. And that just lit a fire under me to go and do this other challenge. And here I am, I won 20,000.
Right.
And that was what really motivated me, being in second place.
Sure. Okay. Now, had you undergone that, I guess, attempt previously in terms of those challenges and entering and, you know,
No.
or was this new?
This was all new.
Oh, okay. So perhaps that was a different trigger.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking to do, my next challenge will be Stacy's bodybuilding challenge come the fall.
Okay.
So we'll see how far I can go with that.
Right.
You can always set different goals and just keep pursuing that.
Right. You mentioned yo-yo, and I want to take it up with both of you, but I have to say this, Stace, that's one of the things that I've sort of investigated very informally, not me personally, but you know, you see a lot of shows with a lot of people that have really extreme situations, and they seem to basically have a dramatic change in their lives, weight loss or what have you, and then you find them going back. How prevalent is that scenario, whether it's in bodybuilding, weight loss, or what have you?
I really hate to admit this, but I've been training people for almost 40 years, and it is, I think it's just a psychological, deep emotional type thing. It's very common, and that's why every time I help somebody to transform and they want to leave me, I say, not so fast. Why don't we wean you off of me? Because usually they come back a year, 2, 3, 4 years later, and they've gained it all back and then more. So, you know, what she's doing is so great because she keeps resetting her goals, and that's the key. You can't just, you know, do it and then think, okay, this is it. Sure. Maintaining is actually harder than getting there.
I think that applies to just about anything. It could be swimming, it could be any type of gain that you make. It seems like you can make that first phase, to the extent you're very committed to it, easier than perhaps the next stage, whether either be maintenance or even going deeper. In your case, you lost over 100 pounds. I mean, I can't look at you and think about 280 pounds.
Yeah, well, we have the evidence.
Yeah, I know. I believe it. And I mean, I'm really blown away by it.
Yes, honestly. And the most important thing I think for people to realize is that the weight training is what really tightens you up. I call it the plastic surgery without the knife. It's really what tightens you up and kept me, you know, I lost 115 pounds in a little over a year, and I don't have this saggy, loose skin. And that's a testament to Stacy Longo's training and the way that she has set everything up with the cardio, the weightlifting, and the high-protein diet.
Right. It generally has to be everything, right? I mean, it can't just be 2 of the 3. There's going to be failure.
That's great. I say that all the time. You can do one of those and get some great results, but to do what Lizzie did and reshape your body and have a nice toned bathing suit body, a bikini body, you really need all 3.
Well, speaking of needs, you had mentioned a moment ago, if I can summarize, effectively this had to come from you, and it came from you, and you had said not for anybody else. And yet I have to ask, how valuable in your experience having positive, presumably, motivation around you was? The answer could be no one was giving me any positive motivation. It was all coming from me. But to the extent that there was, how valuable is that?
I think it's very valuable, but most of your motivation has to be from within. I've gone the route with Stacy years ago where I was motivated by somebody I was with at the time. As soon as we broke up, that was it. I was kind of excited I got to eat again, and that blew me up to 310. So this time we know it's going to last because it's for me, and that's the most valuable thing, is you have to have the drive and the motivation yourself. It's important to have a good support system. Stacy has been a huge support system, and her constant counseling has really helped me to stay on track. But, you know, I only see her 2 hours a week. All the other time has to be from within me.
Or otherwise it fails.
Exactly.
Okay, but affirmation and validation is also a big part of that. Motivation's important, but affirmation and validation, I just came up with an acronym, MAV, I'll be using that, but affirmation and validation in the sense of what you got with bodybuilding.com.
Yes, absolutely. That has really motivated me. I mean, my standards are going to be much higher now because I won this competition. You can't go back up in weight after something like this. So it changes the whole standard for me.
What does it do for you? I mean, to see her success, I mean, and in terms of how it almost challenges you, because she's referred to you a number of times in this conversation. She clearly has great respect and admiration for what you've done. What does that do to you?
It makes my day, my week, my month, my year. I get so excited for my clients when they make progress. It's very fulfilling to me as a professional and even personally.
Does it also, though, make it more difficult in one respect, or add a challenge for you, now that you've seen what she's received, now you hear her voice, you see what's happening to her body and where she wants to go?
It's always a challenge, yes. I guess I'm used to it because I've trained people for so long. But, you know, Lizzie and I laugh because I'm hard on her.
She is.
I mean, I challenge her quite a bit, and you know, you have to work with everybody's personality. But there have been times where she's like, "Stace, you're scaring me. Like, you're really yelling at me tonight." And I'm not yelling, but I'm just saying, you know, binging is not an option anymore.
Yeah, we're
this
done.
is out of your. This is no longer in your vocabulary. You know, we have to change your thought process.
And you have 2 hours to connect. And if those 2 hours don't work, and so, again, if you only get a part out of that, you get 90 as opposed to 120, then you've left a hole. You were saying something. I saw you moving your hand.
Yeah, just if I went in and I had a trainer who said, "You look great, you've done so good," I think I would have gotten lazy. With Stacy, you know, she'll just say, "Hey, you're looking a little bloated. Let's get back on track." But that's what you need. That's what you need.
Right. Every personality is different. Let's take a look at some photographs. And Brian's going to throw those up, and we'll get a pretty good idea of where they are. Take us through them, if you don't mind, Lizzie.
So these photos were taken. This is about a little over a year of transformation here.
And you weighed 310 on
310 in the before photos. It's hard to believe, even for me, because once you change your habits, you forget what it was like to be morbidly obese.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking more about obesity in a moment. When were these taken?
So these were all taken just about a year ago.
The one on the left.
Yes.
But the one on the right.
The one on the right was taken maybe about a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You look happy. There's Brian. Sorry, known him too long. But yeah, that's great. And I see you're training right now.
And that's the other important part. You need to find somebody who's not going to motivate you, but not to the point of being controlling. So the last body transformation, it was kind of like that. And this time around, you know, you just have to find somebody who supports your new lifestyle. That's huge.
Very good. We're going to come back. We have one more segment with Stacy and Lizzie. We'll continue the conversation right here at BCNC.
you
Welcome back, everybody. Chris Moore is out this week. I'm in. I'm Ellis Cannon. Thanks for being there. Stacey Longo is a professional trainer, and one of her disciples is Lizzie Dervin, who is also an award winner building bodybuilding.com weight loss challenge recently. I want to run this by both of you. Obesity increases a person's risk of a stroke, but carrying extra weight, according to Boston University Medical Center, can improve the chances of surviving one. I think I'd probably want to avoid it in the first place so I don't have to worry about surviving. Exactly. Obesity is an issue that we're all familiar with. I mean, this is beyond one person. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, we are the fattest nation in the world. We lead in every major disease. And, you know, that's what makes what I do, I have such a passion for it because I just want to help people to change their, not just, it changes their entire life, actually, you know, just their whole outlook, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. They become more confident, but yes, obesity is an epidemic, and it's terrible. And
I have to say that, you know, reading and talking to people, that it's also a real big issue as it relates to mental health. I mean, if you're able to get out and exercise, it's often been described to me by professionals as the best antidepressant, which is the root of a lot of these issues.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, this now takes us to a mini segment we call pardon me, which we call Stacey's Toys. So forgive me. Stacey's Toys. Why do we have this?
Okay, so they're not sex toys.
No, all right, we clarify that, but I don't want them to be. What are those?
Okay, so this is my famous, these are my props, okay? So this is a true replica of a ½ pound of muscle and a ½ pound of fat. This is what it looks like, okay? So this is why Lizzie didn't just lose weight and has all kind of loose skin. We weight trained throughout this process. I had her eat high protein because muscle is made of protein and water, so that she was reshaping her body. Muscle was underneath the fat. So we were making this, but we were specifically only losing body fat because of the way that I set up her diet, her training, her cardio. This is very important for women, especially because women think if they lift weights, they're going to get big. And we're full of estrogen. We don't have enough testosterone to get big. So it's the two of these, your ratio of muscle to fat is called body composition. So I specialize in body composition, changing it, not losing weight for the scale. And that's why she looks so great.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, and that's why you said earlier we don't have the issue regarding sagging skin and so forth because of proportionality to the entire effort. You had said earlier that one of the big things to you was to help others, and talk a little bit about that.
Well, just as you mentioned earlier, you know, we're getting fatter and fatter, and we seem to see all of these diet products coming in, and the truth is there's a lot of gimmicks. What I did was just hard work, heavy lifting. You can lift heavy and not look masculine. That's a lie. And just basically, there are no gimmicks with what I did. I consulted a trainer specifically to target problem areas and make sure that my body developed so that I didn't have loose skin. Had I been doing it on my own, I think I would have had more loose skin because Stacey has strategically trained me so that to avoid that. But basically, it's just hard work. There are no gimmicks. There was no supplement. There was nothing.
Oh, wow.
There was nothing in particular that I took or did. It was pure heavy lifting, cardio, and just having a very strict diet.
Okay, less than a minute to go. I mean, if any given week, while you were going from 310 to 180 something, talk to me about how much time you put in.
Honestly, we had started with her cardio race. So initially, I was just doing a lot of walking, and once my heart got to a healthy point, I started doing more and more cardio at a higher rate. So basically, I was doing 2-3 hours a day because I was in a cardio race. Right. And now I've balanced that out, and I do more running, less time.
Well, congratulations to both of you. And I really enjoyed it as always. So you've done a wonderful job.
So
Keep up the great work, both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, we certainly enjoyed that. Stacey Longo and Lizzie Dervin. We'll come back and put a wrap on the show, but not before we talk about how coffee could help you live longer. I'm Ellis Cannon. It's Pittsburgh Now.